Hi there folks, greetings and welcome to our tutorial for today. Now we've mentioned the fact that KETRON is one of the very few companies left that produces arranger modules. And in this particular demonstration, we are going to talk about how you, a customer of Yamaha, Roland, Korg, Casio, or any other keyboard out there, can further enhance your existing keyboard with one of our modules. In today's discussions, we are going to be looking at the KETRON SD40, barely 5 pounds in weight, very nice and small portable module, but it can go to many musical places. It can take you to many areas where you would not have thought about to venture before, thanks to its small size. But again, it's packed with lots and lots of great features which you can use to enhance your existing keyboard. So we have before us here a rather old keyboard, but you can hear in that mix that together with this machine, it sounds very beautiful. What exactly have we done? So what we're doing is, in this particular example, we're going to focus on using the right hand or the lead voices from the Yamaha keyboard, because in this case we understand that many Yamaha users love the lead solo voices of their instruments. But where there's a room for improvement would be on the left, which would be the chord and the style section. So in that case, we're going to tap into the KETRON. So when you hear me playing the different chords and styles on my left, I'm actually using the styles from the KETRON. Now in that other example, you can actually blend both as well. And I'll show you how to do that in a couple of minutes. Being able to use sections of the style parts from the Yamaha in collaboration or in conjunction with sections of the style part from the KETRON. So in this particular case, I was doing that particular tune over there. And what exactly I did was, so in this particular example, I'm looking at the screen, okay, I'm going to see if I can zoom in. So I had the drums, bass, and chord sections coming from the KETRON SD40, and I had some of the chord parts coming from the Yamaha. Now if I go to the Yamaha screen, so you can see what I've done over here, in the channel section here where it says channel on and off, okay, I was able to turn off rhythm 1, turn off rhythm 2, and turn off the bass just by doing that on the bottom of the screen there, okay? So that way, these three components are now coming from the KETRON, which is up above over here. I have the drum and the bass and chord parts coming from here. Now, in certain circumstances, like on the last part of the song, I was able to bring in the right-hand voice of the KETRON as well. But that's not a must, okay? Depends on what you're doing. So pretty much, in the beginning of the song, what I did there was I turned down the drum volume and I turned down the bass volume on the KETRON, okay? So if I go over to this screen over here, you can see what I'm doing on the KETRON. Drum is down, bass is down, okay, on 0. And I have the chord parts here. Right-hand section is down as well, and I have the style player up. Now if I come over to the Yamaha part, it's the opposite. Drum is off, bass is off, and the rhythm part is off as well. And I'm using the chord 1, 2, and the pad and the phrases. These are all coming from here. So now when I play a chord, we get this. Okay, and this is coming. Now if I turn the KETRON volume all the way to 0, this is just what the Yamaha is doing in this case. Okay, now bring up the KETRON volume. All right, now if I bring the Yamaha drums, so if you notice, I'm going to explain to you how you can sync them up together, but usually when you use the sync function, you want to start and trigger everything from the Yamaha, okay? So if I hit start over here, watch this. This is going to trigger the KETRON, and they both start at the same time, and they have the same MIDI clock, and I'll explain that to you in a second, okay? So let's turn off the drums and the bass like we did on the KETRON. This is what it sounds like on the Yamaha. The bass, so if I turn the KETRON completely on 0, that's just on the Yamaha keyboard. what I'm doing there is I'm going and taking out the drums, all right? And I'm taking off the shaker, or you can leave that drum number 1 on, because that's just the percussive part of the Yamaha, which is nice, that little tambourine that's shaking over there. And I'm going to bring in the drums from the KETRON. I like the live drums that comes from here. Okay, now the Yamaha bass, boom, boom, it's kind of repetitive and a little bit boring. So I'm going to take out the bass, turn the bass off here on the Yamaha keyboard, and bring in that nice, authentic bass on the KETRON, which is heavier, okay, and also has more melodies within measures. The piano, boom, boom, that's coming from the Yamaha. I can turn that off, okay, and bring in the chords from here, that live guitar. Actually, I think I like that piano from the Yamaha as well too. I'm going to turn that back on here, but it's coming from chord 1. It's a little bit loud. I'm going to go to my mixing console, go to chord 1 and bring it down. Bring that down a little bit, okay? Just like that. So you can see what I'm doing right there, and I'm being very, very careful, as you can see, trying to balance this in real time so you can see what you can do. This is what you do at home when you're preparing the keyboard to go out there and do your performance, for an example, right? So if I get back into my channel on and off on the Yamaha, I can then go back in here and then test out the rhythm. So if you notice, I have drums, bass, chords from here. The right is off. Right now the right voices are coming from the Yamaha keyboard. So if I do something like this, okay, now everything sounds good. It's the way I like it. I can then save it as a registration here on the Yamaha, and equally save it as a registration on the KETRON, so that when I go to perform, all I have to do is recall that register here, here, and that's it. I can play this song. Now let's look at what's making this happen. How do these two talk to each other, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back and explain this in a little bit more detail. So on Yamaha's side, let's go into the Yamaha screen. You're sending information out into the KETRON, right? So I would like to go here, and I'm going to go into where it says function on the Yamaha and be able to access that screen. And then I'm going to go into MIDI, right? And once I go into MIDI, you can see I have a setup there which is for KETRON. So what would you like to do? Normally, you would come out, you would have these as your regular presets, right? And then you can edit one of those and save it as yours, which I've done right now for KETRON. So let's see what I did for the KETRON world. So if you look at that channel, you're going to see that the clock transmission is set to on, which means that the Yamaha is going to drive the KETRON, right? The MIDI clock, in terms of the tempo, is going to be driven and set by your Yamaha keyboard, which is your master controller keyboard, okay? So that's what you have to make sure you do on this particular page. That's the first thing. Now, the next thing, you want to go tab over and you want to go into your transmit. And you can see here what I'm doing is the right 1 and right 2 are set to transmit on channel number 1, okay? And then if I go back down here, you can see that you can change the channels as you see fit, and you can go down here, right 2, and right. Also, your left is set to transmit on channel 2 and your lower on channel 2. So these are the setups you want to do to be able to send information out of the Yamaha keyboard. And that's pretty much it from the Yamaha perspective, okay? Now if I get out of this and return to my normal screen, I'm back on here. What do you have to do on the KETRON side? If I go over now to the KETRON section, SD40 in this case, and this is true for most of our modules, by the way. You're going to go into menu, okay? and then you're going to go into MIDI, all right? And you want to use the standard MIDI preset. You have 9 presets over there. You want to use the standard one, and then go to arrange your keyboard and channel receive, which is RX. And this is how you're going to set up the KETRON. Channel 1 is going to receive on channel 1 because your Yamaha is transmitting the right hand parts on channel 1. So the KETRON is going to receive on channel 1. The KETRON left, which is the arranger, is going to receive that on channel 2 because on the Yamaha you were sending out the lower and the left on channel 2. Okay? And then you want to also go into filter in this case. And yellow means you want to filter out all that information on the top because you don't want the Yamaha sending out MIDI messages which the KETRON may not be able to interpret properly. So you want to block all those different signals, okay, as you can see on the screen right there. And you want to make sure that you pick all parts, otherwise you have to do them for every single part, for the drum, for the bass and guitar and everything else. So you want to go to all parts and do that. And as soon as you do that, you just hit save, and you save that as your new standard setup. Also, if you notice, my clock in is on, right? Remember, on the Yamaha, what did we do? On the Yamaha, when we went in here, we had set the MIDI clock to be transmission on. So the MIDI clock is coming out of the Yamaha, and that MIDI clock is coming into the KETRON to control the KETRON module. And this is how and why when you press start or you do changes of the tempo on the Yamaha, automatically it controls the KETRON. So for an example, that style we just did right now, if I go over here so you can see what I'm talking about, and let's get back to my normal screen. If I press start on the Yamaha, and they both start at the same time, I'm able to change the tempo on the Yamaha, and you can notice on the screen, on the KETRON, it's adapting to the new tempo. Okay, slow it down. So I'm controlling the KETRON module from the Yamaha at this point. Now, the beauty about this, again, I think that I understand a lot where some of our customers are coming from when they say we have these features on this keyboard, but not on this one. So how does this benefit you, apart from being able to have access to both, right? There are certain features, for example, that are found on the Yamaha, which Yamaha customers are used to and they don't want to give up, right? Those features, such as the multipad, are still at your fingertips. So imagine I'm playing this and I'm able to trigger some of these beautiful sounds, right? Together with the sequence playing the style from the KETRON keyboard. So when I do this, so this is interesting because those are stuff that are not found on this unit, right? Again, you have stuff on this unit which is not found on here. So I can make the best of both worlds. I can combine that and be able to get the best of my musical production. So I figured I'll do this video today just to show you the power and the strength of the KETRON Arranger modules, okay? Being able to use a KETRON module together with your existing keyboard and how you can enhance your current keyboard with some of the features, styles, and of course the sound quality coming out of this little module over here. In the next video, we're going to talk about the new EVM. Again, how do you use the EVM KETRON module with, say, a Yamaha PSR 3000? That's going to be interesting because, again, the EVM is a KETRON event keyboard in a tiny little box. But we don't really care about the box. It's just about the screen, right? Being able to have all those functionalities on the touch screen. Now imagine having that screen as a music rack right here. So instead of having all of this, right, you have a screen right there and you just control and play. That magic is coming up on our next video.